the new frontier.
It's just a cough.
Yeah, right. And the Earth is flat.
In a few moments, you will have an experience which will seem completely real. It can be extremely harmful and result in severe trauma. You have 5 seconds to terminate this tape. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Flat Earth expert Mark Sargent thinks the moon landing was a hoax.
Technically, the moon itself is a hoax.
Right, but betting with Sportsbet's new iPhone app?
I could do this standing on my head.
Thanks, Gravity. Sportsbet's new iPhone app. It's
Hold on.
foolproof.
I know how we're different. Do you believe the Earth is flat?
I know it's flat. I walk on it.
Holy sh**.
Do you think the Earth is flat, Snoop? What do you think?
It's a flat world after all.
Smoke weed every day.
Hey, it's that secret David Weiss cam.
Broadcasting straight to you from a large spaceship currently at war with mainstream science. Meanwhile, the peanut gallery would just like to say that Antarctica is like the mysterious sibling of Earth. Everyone knows it's there, but no one is really sure what's going on. We're going to figure out a little bit more of that tonight with our special guest. Welcome to Strange World, where the truth is often stranger than fiction. I'm your host, Mark Sargent, the creator of Flat Earth Clues, which propose that all of us are living inside a Truman Show enclosed structure. Thousands of miles wide. Just Google Flat Earth Mark. If you can't find it, well, you're just not very good at the internet. Currently, the show is on Tuesday nights at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern. And yes, Caroline, if it is not December 3rd, 2024, then you are listening to a rerun. Don't forget the show can be found on BitChute and Brighteon, Rockfin, Rumble, and Spotify. YouTube is not the end of Flat Earth. It is only the beginning. Quote of the day goes exactly like something that I read today. I went on the internet and I found this. What good is the warmth of summer without the cold of winter to give it sweetness? That's pretty appropriate. And our special guest, she's never going to want to be cold again. I guarantee it. My co-hosts are, in the upper left, the perfect Patricia Steere, and in the upper right, the delightful DJ Curious, and in the lower right, Lisbeth Acosta. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing pretty good. Happy to be here. How are you guys?
I can't really complain. DJ?
Doing great. So happy to have you here, Lisbeth. Thank you for coming on the show.
Yes, Lisbeth, you are warmly welcomed. And Mark even put a fire on for you.
I did. I did. It's on there. It's a little.
I love it.
It's a little mini.
I'm gonna need it.
Yeah, mini stove back there, and I can't put it too close because people are worried that I'm gonna catch fire to my couch. But no, it's not. It's not.
Well, that would be cool though.
To catch fire to the couch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
production value, as they say.
Yeah, but I'm not 20 anymore, so I'm not gonna like fireworks inside the house. I mean, I want to. Don't get me wrong. I really want to, but I can't. Let's see. And because all three of you are just not camera ready in any way, shape, or form, it must be hard to find Flat Earth friends. And there's an easy way to find cool people like yourself and solid info about our stationary horizontal level plane. The solution, well, it's simple. It's the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. Watch the featured video every day for 2 weeks and see what happens. It'll be the best $2.99 you've ever spent, so says David Weiss. Oh, so sleepy. And because it's 10 p.m. on the East Coast, it's time to say goodnight to one of our listeners, Paige. She's just put on her flash pajamas, got a cup of cocoa with exactly 6 tiny marshmallows, and will probably listen to the playback in the morning. Good night, Paige.
Good night, Paige.
Hey, I think there's a media player in the way of the visuals that perhaps some might want to see.
What'd I forget? What happened?
Oh, and Lisbeth, you mean?
No, media player.
Oh, right. Yeah, sorry about that. I gotta get rid of that. Give me a second. 1 sec. There it is. There. Better?
And just to let everybody know, not that it matters, but if there's anything that we need to react to on a screen other than the faces of everyone here, for some reason tonight I'm unable to see anything. So
got it.
Yeah.
Media player. Actually,
I can see everybody, but
I was gonna close it, but I didn't want to ruin my role. So I was fidgeting around for it, but it's like I can't do.
You were on a roll.
Sorry. I feel bad. Again.
Well, we can see you, and you look stunning, Patricia.
Well,
I know. She never gets stuff on her. It's always the guest that gets the stuff on their screen. Sorry, Elizabeth. It's just the way it goes. Okay, shout outs really quick. Flat Earther Stephen Carpenter of the Deftones. Support the Flat Earth cause. Get the coolest hoodies ever. Go to thestrong.family, won't you? Pick up some merch. The Deftones will be touring in 2025, so catch them when they come to a city near you. I certainly will when they come up to Seattle. Shout out to Zulu One, longtime listener of the show, for doing a simulcast stream on his channel, also called Zulu One. What up? Mailbag. I'm not going to read anything from there. I did get something, but since it's not, I did receive some stuff from some Flat Earth people, but it's not Flat Earth related. So remember, if you're going to mail me things to my house, it's got to be Flat Earth related. It can't be just a generic t-shirt, or it's got to be Flat Earth based. Like, this wonderful coaster that I'm using. This wonderful ceramic coaster, Flat Earth stuff. That's the sort of stuff I know, right? I get all the cool swag.
Yeah. Your house is just Flat Earth.
It is. You have no idea. There is so much Flat Earth stuff. There's a Flat Earth under that Japanese ceramic. I've got 3 Chris Pontius originals. I've got Flat Earth. I have a rare David Weiss Flat Earth clock in the bathroom. Oh yeah.
Oh, I remember that.
Yep.
I used to have one too.
Yep.
Mine fell
Oh,
and broke. But
you knocked it off, didn't you? Sorry, what was that, TJ?
Do you have Flat Earth pajamas to go with your Flat Earth bed sheets and your Flat Earth pillowcases?
No.
I mean, that's a good idea.
And since I am a bit of a geek, all my pristine Flat Earth shirts, like all my tour shirts, all the conferences and special meetups, I rarely wear them. They're sitting on hangers, never worn. Sitting in fact, I've got one of Stephen Carpenter's the Flat Earther sweatshirt that he gave me from his company. I never wore it. I put it on a hanger. I admire it every day when I get up, and it's fun, but I'm never going to wear it. Plus, hoodies make me look fat.
Wait, hey, Lisbeth, shout out to her. She's got a really cool
what are you wearing,
hoodie
Lisbeth?
On right now. Want to show the viewers?
I have a Flat Earth Gang hoodie.
Lift it a little higher.
Especially. Oh, can we see it?
Yep.
There we go. Yeah, that's so cool.
Nice. Where'd you get that?
So my friend, Linnell, he has a conspiracy apparel website. It is called blackistheuniform.com, where you can find all of your conspiracy apparel and more. And this is our lovely limited edition Flat Earth Gang hoodie. Shout out to Flat Earth Gang on Clubhouse, which is where I'm part of the community.
Right on.
Could you tell us, for those who don't know, a lot of people just think about YouTube and a couple other places where you can find Flat Earth stuff, but there's Clubhouse and Flat Earth Gang on Clubhouse. Where would someone go to find Clubhouse? And how would people in the very first place ever find out it even existed?
Okay, sure. So Clubhouse, back in, I believe it was like 2020, pandemic era, it was an invite-only app. So at that time, you had to be invited. It wasn't just something that you could download and, just sign on. So in the beginning, when we were all locked in our homes, there were a lot of people on, and there still are a lot of people. It's an audio app. It's basically like X Spaces, with just like a little less features. And, over time, as the world opened back up, etc., less people started coming onto the app. But, we have a lot of houses is what they call spaces on it. And there are still a lot of people, from a plethora of subjects that, engage in conversation and discourse. And Flat Earth Gang is definitely part of them. And that's kind of like our little silo community where we hang out and debate Flat Earth and, talk everything conspiracy under the sun, moon, and stars. So you would download Clubhouse. It's no longer invite only. So you could download it on your phone. For those who like to stream, like Mark or, DJ or Patricia, you could download a third-party app via your desktop, which is called Club Deck. And that way you could say, if you wanted to come in and hang out with Flat Earth Gang or something, then you could actually stream it through your show here. And yeah, like I said, it's an audio app, so you don't really get the visuals, but the audio is so on point. People that have come over from other platforms really do enjoy the audio quality.
All right.
Good to know, because I didn't really know much about it at all, but now I do. So I feel better about
very
it.
Cool.
Shout out to the Flat Earth Gang. They were great. I got to pop in there yesterday and today, say hello. They're so excited for you, Lisbeth, and I'm sure they're listening. So shout out to the Flat Earth Gang. For me, it's just cool when you see different Flat Earth villages popping up all over the earth, right? So somehow you find your tribe. It's kind of like your vibe attracts your tribe, whatever you fall into. There's Flat Earth is in all the reaches, and it's just nice to have another resource to go to make new friends.
Right on.
You have your friend
Absolutely.
who's there with you now, Kelsey. I've heard that you and Kelsey became Flat Earthers around the same time. How did it happen, and what year was that when it happened?
Yeah, she's actually next to me right now in Clubhouse, like with the gang.
Aww.
Yeah, we were
Hi, friend.
Yeah. Hi, friend. We were kind of going down this rabbit hole of, the world wars and history, the mud floods, the Great Reset. And we were actually, this was February/March of 2022. So about 2.5 years ago. And we were entertaining Hollow Earth, the theory, the whole world wars, how it's connected, et cetera, even the whole alien theory at the time, et cetera. And yeah, it kind of just spiraled from there. And I was the one, actually, I was on TikTok, and I'm not sure if you know this Flat Earth content creator. His name is Caleb. He goes by KC Industries. Yes. Yeah, he wears like the tinfoil hat. And I was watching his videos because I like the way that he broke down his playlist, like how seasons work, how, everything works, the celestial, et cetera. And then there were in the comments where I was reading, and I was actually going down, like specifically what I was centered on at the time was the food, and how they're poisoning our food, and all the chemicals and stuff, and how to grow your own food even from using food scraps. And just coming across one of these videos and just reading in the comments, someone had commented and said, this is all connected, how they're trying to keep us vibrating low, how they're trying to poison us, and even the shape of the earth, it goes all the way there. So because I was already entertaining Hollow Earth at the time, it was kind of like one of those interesting things. And they had listed a documentary, and I wish to this day I remembered it, because it was a British lady's voice, and it was like a 2-hour-long documentary, and it just went over the basics of Flat Earth. And one of the things that really got to me was the moon landing. And I was like, wow, I'm in my 30s, and I don't think I've ever seen the actual footage of the moon landing. So of course, I went to that.
That's
and
interesting.
I was just like, how have I
wow.
never seen this? And I was just like, this looks like a 5th grade science project. How did I ever just fall for this so blindly? So yeah, I basically woke up that morning. This sounds so strange, but I woke up that morning. I was like, Kelsey, I think I'm a flat earther. Like the next day, it all took just that video and just watching the moon landing and just being like, wow, like maybe this was the journey I was on, and it was bringing me closer to the truth. And yeah, I mean, from there, it just spiraled, and we were just watching videos together for a year until, I really wanted to just connect with real people. And I know that there's so many other platforms, but at the time, Clubhouse was an app that I had already used back in the pandemic days. And I said, you know what, let me just reopen Clubhouse and let me just type in Flat Earth, see if there is a Flat Earth community. And Lord behold, Flat Earth Gang popped up. I went into the room, and that's where I met all the Flat Earth Gang, and I didn't stop coming back ever since. So yeah, they're my tribe, they're my family.
How many people are in Flat Earth Gang? I know you don't know exactly, probably, but what do you think? How many?
So we have 2.2K like house member subscribers. However, like the average numbers in the room usually range around maybe I would say like 15 to 30 people. Sometimes we can get up to 50 people. I know when we have like collaborations, say Ether Cosmology, like Whitsitt and Alan and them in the gang come over, the rooms get a little bit more fuller and stuff. We've had Flat Earth Dave come. We've had Tyler Hansen, aka Fittest Flat Earther, come into the room and space. So yeah, we've just kind of just been building over the past year that I've been a part of it. The house has been open a little bit longer. I just recently came to Flat Earth Gang as of November of 2023. So happy 1 year anniversary to me over here.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Like I said, I earned their trust and we started building and just listening to the conversations. We have a resident PhD theoretical physicist, obviously a Glober, who can't stop coming back. We have
Love those ones.
NASA. Right. We have a NASA optical engineer, which I'm sure you heard from the Golden Ticket. That was my friend Bert. We started collaborating. We said, let's get down to doing some observations and kind of bring, the anti-flat earthers, which is what we call them, because really they just sit around in another room and just talk about us. They don't really talk any science. And
So you guys have your own trolls.
Oh, yes. It is definitely, there's a house that calls itself Life and Real Science. And every day the title is, nope, still not flat earth, insert whatever title here. So they're just an anti-flat earth group. But you know what? We love them too. We need them, right?
Oh, well, you're not really official until you have one or two trolls kind of,
Right.
bugging you guys. But
Haters make you greater.
Eventually they, maybe
Absolutely.
they churn.
Some do. Yeah, true.
So
that cognitive dissonance, I don't think we'll let them.
I completely forgot because the thumbnail kind of gave it away, but we didn't actually say why Lisbeth is even here. And that is, if you guys missed it, if you guys have been missing what's been going on for the last X number of months, not only are Austin Whitsitt and Jaren, going from Jarenism, going to be going down to Antarctica with the final experiment group, which now I think with you makes a total of 8. I think they had their minimum was going to be 8. I heard at one point, you'll probably know more than I do, that they were going to have more than a dozen, but then the numbers started shrinking, and then Leonard backed out, and then producer, which Patricia will talk about, kicked in. But the point is that the final experiment group went together and they said, why don't we do a sort of lottery golden ticket, which disturbs me somewhat because I am a huge Willy Wonka fan, and I actually have a golden ticket framed on the wall in the other room from the 1970 movie. Whole other story for another time, which is autographed by Gene Wilder. No, I'm sorry, that one's autographed by Mike Teavee, but Gene Wilder's photo is autographed above that. Anyway, so
that is awesome, actually.
Yeah, I was a huge fan. There's layers, kind of like Gilligan's Island, Willy Wonka and Chocolate Factory. There are layers to that movie. By the way, it's the only movie in history completely financed by a food company because it was linked to a chocolate bar. So look it up if you get a chance.
And Lisbeth, what were you singing when you found out?
So when I'm sorry,
I got a golden ticket.
Yeah, had you seen the movie, Lisbeth?
Oh my gosh, it's a classic, absolutely.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God.
No, that's appropriate. I was singing that for you. I've been singing that song all week just because she's got the golden ticket. It's just kind of an earworm.
So I'll give the quick summary. Lisbeth won the golden ticket to go to Antarctica on the final experiments dime, which is not a cheap trip. It's like, 35 grand. And you will be one of the few people, it's not even a fraction of 1%. It is 0.0000. Nobody goes to Antarctica ever, and you're going to be one of the few people that can check that off on their bucket list, before you're 40, which is awesome. So, however, let's get into it really quick, which is how did you get involved with the golden ticket process, and how go from A to Z, how that whole thing happened?
Okay, so, obviously being in Flat Earth Gang, we had known about the final experiment or, whatever they want to call it. And, people had their, speculations, their thoughts and, everything around it and sort of. And, I kind of, one of our Flat Earth Gang members, actually, Jamal, he remembers and recalls prior to this whole announcement of even an opportunity to go to Antarctica with a golden ticket, that I was joking around. I was like, wouldn't it be cool if I just got to go to Antarctica, like somehow? And he remembers that. I actually forgot that I even said that, because it was just one of those hee hee ha ha moments in passing. And when it got closer and we found out that Witsit and Jaron were going, we became more interested, because we're like, okay, we have some people that we at least, trust, at least we follow their content, etc. They're going to go, let's pay more attention to this. And then it was actually my friend Bert, our NASA friend, Glober, who sent me and Kelsey, because we're actually in a group chat together. And he said, girl, here's your chance. And he literally dropped the TFE video that said, golden ticket, any flat earther. And, this was probably at the point where Duffy's like, I just want to get somebody to go, why not,
Right.
So I looked at that video. I listened to the instructions. You needed to be a flat earther for at least 2 years. At that point in September, it was the week, prior to September 11th, I was like, I literally just made the cut, I have YouTube history, because I'm not a content creator, so I don't have flat earth content, but my YouTube history, dates back all the way to March of 2022 when I started watching flat earth videos. Regardless of what you think about the evidence, it is what it is. I just followed instructions and I just started writing my why statement. And my why statement was literally that I'm not a content creator. And, I do have this little community over here on Clubhouse, and I want to go. I want to go and document this and see what we find and help expand the conversation. And, I call myself a baby flat earther because, I just became a flat earther in 2022. And I'm in a room filled with people who have been flat earthers for well over a decade, who really get down to the nitty gritty sciencey terms. And, sometimes it makes my head spin, but it pushes that thirst for knowledge and wanting to look up word definitions and hearing the back and forths and, kind of questioning my own discernment to make sure, am I understanding information correctly? What more could I do, to help me understand better? So yeah, I literally just typed up my email. I sent it in and I was just even thinking, I was like, I don't know if, showing YouTube history would even be enough. I thought that you did have to be a content creator, but I did it anyway. That's how bad I wanted to go. And yeah, Lord behold, it was a week afterwards, I got an email from Duffy saying, you have been selected as one of the finalists. I didn't know how many finalists at that time. It was just, very generic email. And then he gave me the date. And then, I don't know if some of y'all have watched it, but for those who did, you got to see how, it was picked. It was kind of like a musical, chairs were on the screen. He turned off your screen and everything. And,
Right.
Yeah.
That was he knows how to play up the suspense. He knows how to play up the suspense. Already it's interesting. So I just want to interject really quick because, it's pretty interesting and amazing that you go from researching flat earth. Primarily, we come across a lot of different content. Maybe it's, people give us crap for saying it's YouTube videos that draw us in, but it is a start because, hey, how else are we supposed to learn some information until you get to meetups and you see people actually doing experiments? So I want to make sure people realize it's not just videos but to go from the videos to now in the real world, going to Antarctica, which is, as we know, really a rare opportunity, hard to get to. It's expensive. It's pretty incredible that this happened for you. And it's like mini flat earth famous from this little experiment. And so I can't wait to get into what you think about it, because it's a big mystery and it's causing a lot of controversy within the flat earth community. And so we'll get on that probably in a little bit, but I'm just excited for you.
So
yeah, absolutely. I'm excited myself.
So Lisbeth, you were I saw your initial reaction. I'm sorry.
I should probably hold the mic closer. I saw your initial reaction when you won, and you were super excited, and I was like, I saw the way it whittled down. I will give him credit. I'm not going to give him much credit, but I will give him credit for the suspense building of picking the winner. When you won, what happened? Everybody else was kicked off, and I would imagine behind the scenes you were like, okay, stay on the line because you're going to be it. Is that what more or less went down?
Well, no, it was in real time. So when it got down to me and the last person on the screen, I was kind of just I was so nervous. I was just okay, you know what? It is what it is. I'm going to go with God. You know, I'm happy it came down to 2 women actually, because at that point I was like, man, we just have all the dudes going. Like, let's get some flat earth ladies there, you know? So I was going to be happy either way. I was like, either I'm meant to go or she's meant to go. And I'm so happy with that. And I don't know if you noticed, because I know I noticed it. I watched the video like at least 1,000 times because I was like, my face looks that way. I had a delayed reaction a little bit because it was just like the screen went off and it was me. And I was like, wait, it's really me. And I just couldn't control it. I was in tears. I was just like, I even used the Lord's name in vain. So I do apologize because I know you're not supposed to say OMG, but I was just so overly elated, excited, just yeah, it was like a dream come true in a sense, because I said back in 2012, way before I was a flat earther, before I started my journey to living abroad in China, where I spent 4 years teaching English, actually, that I wanted to complete, I wanted to complete the world map. I wanted to go to every continent. And I know that Antarctica is one of those really rare opportunities. So I said back in 2012, I'm eventually going to make it to Antarctica. So who would have known over a decade later, not only would I be going to Antarctica, but also I'd be a flat earther. Like, if you would have told me that back then, I would have been like, Cap, no, you're lying, So it's really this surreal feeling, but also this serendipitous experience that I've been on,
Awesome.
Absolutely. No, it's so crazy. And it was pretty suspenseful when they had the music and it was the countdown and people were just disappearing off the screen and it starts to close in and they start to, I could feel that your adrenaline was probably rushing. And so it is pretty cool because, it's just a random thing. I feel like we're living some sort of flat earth reality show altogether, just in general, and that this is just the next thing on the storyline of flat earth and how we all come to it. And now here we are talking about we're actually going down to Antarctica and we're going to do this experiment and see if we see a 24-hour sun or not. It's like, geez, I can't believe we have to argue about these things, but it's pretty cool because we're trying to get to the bottom of the truth and you get to be a part of that.
Absolutely.
So what do you think you're going to see? Have you guys been brainstorming what's going to happen?
So, I mean, my head can spin in a million different ways, right? Just like thinking, but I'm more of the type of person that I want to wait till I see the evidence, I want to wait. I want to go down there objectively. And, I'm not trying to see, 24-hour daylight, no coffee cup caustic. I need to see that ball of fire or whatever we claim it to be made out of in the sky. And that is why, even with my equipment, using a neutral density filter, which I've had great practice with over the last 6 months, even just taking observational pictures of the sun, getting them really crisp and clear to get those sunspots. And, I know that one of the guys, I believe, is bringing an infrared camera, to be able to tell. But yeah, I don't know what to expect. I have a million thoughts. It's like, well, what if it's cloudy for 4 days and we see nothing? Then it's like, well, all right, well, none of us saw anything, What if we do only see the apparent sun, essentially just daylight? What if there's obstruction? What if the mountains cover it? And, again, it's down to the bottom. If we do see and we can confirm and all of our information aligns that it is a 24-hour sun, it does not dip below the horizon, then it's going to be kind of like, well, maybe we didn't know as much we didn't know as much about the sun as what we thought, and how it moves, and it is something to help push the conversation further. I just want to say this: I do not believe that a 24-hour sun, this has even been said in our room by a PhD theoretical physicist, is going to prove flat Earth or essentially. I mean, definitely large implications for the globe Earth model for sure, but for flat Earth, it's kind of like, well, we don't really make those claims. We don't really have per se a model. Like, we have a Gleason's map, but, I know that there's other flat earth models, et cetera, out there. And, just me being newer to the conversation, just trying to have a stronger grasp of it. But in my belief and in my truth, for me, it's just like, we still have the questions of the lack of sphericity. We haven't been able to prove curvature on the actual ground that we walk on. So how can lights in the sky that we cannot verify determine the ground? I'll go back to what one of my friends actually says, because it's a great analogy. If I come into your house and I'm measuring your ceiling, does that determine what shape the floor is? No, it doesn't. So,
good point.
Again, it's something to push the conversation further, but we still have the lack of sphericity with the very same mathematics, and Earth curvature calculator that they give us, that we are still able to bring things back into full focus, which is one of my main things that held me to flat Earth, was the long distance observations. I know Globers will say it's the bendy light refraction, but I'm just like, dude, come on. Like the fact that we can bring that in and now you're telling me that my eyes are deceiving me, you know, again, and just so many, again, you guys know the plethora of other evidences and how everything ties in. But yeah, it's really the long distance observations for me that really hold me to it.
Nice. The I got a quick question for you, which was kind of like on the procedural level, which was when they gave you the restrictions, when they laid out, you know, afterwards, you know, before your tickets, it's like, okay, here's what you are limited to on your trip. Were you surprised at some of the guideline, well, not guidelines, just strict rules as far as what you can bring and what you can't?
So if we're discussing the technically the checklist, like we got this checklist of required clothing, fabrics, and everything. It wasn't too far off of what I was expecting, because I'm like, okay, granted, we're going to the coldest place on earth. I mean, I think it's pretty fair. You know, most people with common sense would know you probably don't want to wear cotton as your first base layer because, you know, hypothermia, dying would be bad, right? So, you know, I was just like, it was kind of normal to me, you know, like, okay, we need sock liners. Okay, we need this. Okay, we need special goggles that can't be metal. So like, as I was going through the list, I was like, okay, these things do make sense. It's a lot of stuff. Hopefully I don't overheat, but thankfully it's cold enough where 3 to 4 layers will be enough. And yeah, it was kind of fun to kind of shop around for this kind of stuff, you know, and, you know, I'll probably never have to use this stuff ever again in my life, but for a once in an opportunity lifetime, sure, you know.
Will you be able to make the, did you have any problems with the weight limit as far as what you were going to take?
So they are limiting us at, what was it? I think it's 55 pounds, which to be fair is a lot. It's heavy.
Yeah.
But I know like once you're counting in equipment and so forth, that can get a little heavy. I did make sure to ask because since I have traveled the world for the most part, I kind of am, you know, I kind of know, you know, the whole, how it goes, you know, as far as traveling, you know, you're able to bring checked baggage, you're able to bring your carry-on, and then usually a personal item, which could be a laptop. And for me, it was a camera bag. So I was like, that's awesome because I can fit my cameras in there, which do have some weight to them in there, and then just kind of reserve my checked bag for like the heavier clothing, maybe fit a couple tripods, battery packs, and then obviously my my carry-on, which would be my hiking backpack, you know, toiletries, you know, cosmetics, you know, all that fun stuff. So I feel comfortable with the weight limit. I haven't really started, this sounds bad, right? Less than a week away. I haven't started my pretend packing, but I definitely need to do that this week so that I know what I can and cannot bring.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. That's a tomorrow task for sure.
Yeah, you don't want to get on the scale. I don't know how you're going to do it if you're like going to step on and off a scale carrying whatever you're going to do, but you'd be surprised how quickly 55 pounds, or if that's what it is, adds up. And sorry, one more question. I don't want to dominate this, which is, because, you know, I didn't know until Jaron came on that you guys are going to be down there for what, 11 days? Is that true?
Yeah, it's 10 or 11 days. Yeah, the 10th through the 20th. So
10.
I know some people are flying out differently. Yep.
And you're only on the ice. I know that you can describe your flight route in a minute, but have they sent you, because I've been trying to visualize it, have they sent you any images or pics of the lodging you're going to be staying at in advance?
No, but they did send me like our customer service rep for ALE, which is the company that we're going through.
Yeah.
She did send me like their online brochure. That was all the stuff that she had sent prior, you know, with like the checked required clothing, et cetera, what you can and cannot bring.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to look through it, but actually going on TikTok and looking at Union Glacier Camp videos and actually seeing real people that have gone down there, seeing the clamshell tents, how well insulated they are, what it looks like, what the they even have a polar library where you can put books. They have a gift shop down there, which is, you know, I didn't even know. And, you know, just like the shower situation, and also like the meal hall and like the meals that they provide and so forth. So I was just like scrolling through videos and just watching people that have been down there to the same exact camp that we've been, just to check it out. Yeah.
The survivors anyway. Go ahead.
Yeah,
go
the
ahead,
hot stone massage, the sea kelp facial, the full spa experience.
The glacier facial.
Glacier facial. Okay.
No, I'm pretty sure they use penguin oil on that.
Ooh.
No.
Bring me back.
Well, no, they don't kill them. They just rub it off them. I'm pretty sure. And put them back on the ice. I'm pretty sure.
Well, that sounds awesome. I'm so excited for you. I hope so. You get to take pictures and you get to document this experience, and it's like fun for all of us to kind of visualize how it's going to go. What's your flight path going to be like? So what else do you?
I'm sorry. Where are you right now? I didn't even ask that. I'm so rude. What?
Okay, no, that's okay. So
she's going to give a secret location.
No, where she is now, though.
But she had said
my phone.
The what? I'm not. I don't know why you would say that I was tracking your phone, Peanut. Turn that off. Go ahead.
Well, she had said she wanted to remain a little anonymous.
Oh, okay. No. I mean,
yeah.
Well, I wasn't going to say.
I'm in my home state. No, I'm okay with it. So I'm in my home state, Pennsylvania. I do not live in Pennsylvania anymore. Okay. I do live in the South. But I'm here visiting for the holidays. So yeah, it was like kind of like an all-in-one. Get to come home, visit for the holidays, and I'm actually meeting Flat Earth Gang in New York City this Saturday. So we're going from having conversations for over a year online to we're gonna meet in Times Square / New York City during the magical time of Christmas and see each other in real life and get to hug the people that have given me the courage to really be a non-closeted, going from a closeted flat earther to saying it to the internet, So yeah. I'm really looking forward.
That's awesome. So what
did you
go
ahead,
no, you're up, Patricia. What you got?
Well, you might know the story with the documentary called Behind the Curve that was made, and how the filmmakers, who were very new at filmmaking, approached us and said that they wanted to just show what real flat earthers are like to their audience, and they were going to make a film, a very low budget film, and they were going to take it and bring it to film festivals and then see how it did. Well, what they ended up doing with it is they made a hit piece and kind of portrayed several of the people in the film and things they did and said in incorrect light. And they also sold it to Netflix and Amazon Prime. So that thing didn't work out too well. So Whitsitt and Jaron, especially Jaron, who was in Behind the Curve, learned from the experience and decided they wanted to sign a bunch of papers with Will to make sure that this wouldn't turn into a hit piece. Now, I know you're not worried about that yourself because you weren't in Behind the Curve, and I don't even know if you even saw it. Not that I'm recommending it. But do you have any feelings about that? Because you probably heard about it. And have you signed any kind of agreement with Will yourself, similar to what Jaron and Whitsitt have signed?
So yes, first and foremost, I did watch Behind the Curve. Jaron did come into Flat Earth Gang about a month ago just to kind of explain to people, like, this is what happened and this was my experience. This is how I got duped into this, because I had no idea. You go into something with good faith, as I'm sure you all did, and then they turned around and essentially stabbed you in the back. So, it was very unfortunate that that's how it turned out. You guys are strong for, I can't imagine the amount of backlash you guys faced and all that kind of stuff. We already faced it enough just being, in the community. So, I just believe that people will get their karma in the end. So maybe while they thought that for a minute, they could make you guys look like fools. But in the end, once the truth is revealed, the final joke's on them. And in regards to contracts and stuff, I can say that Will has not given any pushback about it. In the beginning, I just thought, well, I'm a little nobody. Like, why do I need a contract for? But people put it into perspective, like Flat Earth Dave, shout out to Flat Earth Dave. He was the first person that said, absolutely not. I don't care that you're not a content creator. I'm going to send you, like a contract that like me, Whitsitt, and like Jaron were going to present when I thought that,
Great.
I don't think that he ever was going to go. But, he basically came in there like protective mode, essentially, like, hey, like, we've met before in here. I want to make sure that you're okay. Your likeness is important, even if you're not a content creator. And, for them to just be able to make content out of you like that wouldn't be fair for them to make you look like that. And, with Whitsitt, shout out to Whitsitt, shout out to Jaron for like basically holding my hand throughout this whole entire process and helping me and answering all of my questions and just, being so, just being so available in the sense of, as much as they can be, obviously, to help me along the way and help me be a little bit more brave. Even Flat Earth Gang, like, they were like, absolutely, Liz, you need a contract. And one of my friends in Flat Earth Gang, he's actually a Glober, He's, he's not a Flat Earth Gang member. Well, he's a member of the House. He's actually a lawyer and his wife's a contract lawyer. And he said, no, absolutely. We need to make sure. Why don't you have the conversation with, with Will first? And, with Jaron and Witz's experience, when I asked him, they're like, well, we had our back and forth with our lawyers, but there was no part on Duffy where he was just like, absolutely not, or whatever. And I mean, I don't know if there were other conversations behind the scenes, obviously that's between them. But when it came to just my personal experience with it, and when I brought it up to Will, he was like, absolutely, don't worry, the clauses are in there, etc. So that did make me feel more reassured that I was getting, essentially I was given the same level of respect as everyone else, even though I'm not a content creator.
And it's great to hear that the Flat Earth, shout out to Jaron and Austin and Dave for taking you under their wing, because we all kind of know, right? We all kind of know that the world is looking to make a fool even more out of anyone who's a flat earther. I mean, that's why we kind of protect our identity. That's why I'm going by my initials, and you can be ambiguous about where you are, because we know that the world out there, they can be really mean and it can be really scary. And so I always say it's really brave to kind of do something when you're being the underdog, and that if you're just being wise, maybe it's not even brave, it's being wise into what happened with Behind the Curve this go around. I think that's really cool for just flat earth in general, because once you become a flat earther, I'm sorry, I don't think it's stupid. I think it's the coolest thing ever, because it's another step towards the truth. And it just sucks that the globe side of things wants to make a mockery, and it's like they're allowed to do that in this world. And it's not really fair, because we're human beings who are just questioning the mainstream narrative, and we're saying that this place is different than what we've been told, and we just want to figure it out a little bit more.
Yes, well said. Well said.
So, I think it's good that Patricia brought that up, because let's be real, our viewers know, and we all saw what both Mark and Patricia went through. I was one of my first exposures to them, but now I look at it like a badge of honor. And I see that it's Patricia and Mark wanting to protect, and same with Dave and Austin, Jaron. But you're also being you kind of know what you're getting yourself into, in a sense, I would imagine, right? You kind of know already that there's a little bit of a risk involved, not necessarily for your safety, but more about just a reputation on the line. But it doesn't matter, because if this is the truth, then, how do you feel about all that?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've been braver in the last year just coming out, again, shout out to Flat Earth Gang. I'll always give them their flowers, because I'll never forget the day that one of the main admins and moderators, the one who's the creator of the wonderful hoodie that I'm wearing from blackastheuniform.com, he told me, no, you got to say it with your whole chest, homie. You got to stand on business and say it, and, say that you're a flat earther. Don't be afraid. And it's really encouraged and pushed me. And it's deeper than that. It's more spiritual, because in doing so with that, if I can go out and say something as quote unquote ridiculous as I'm a flat earther, right? Then I can go out and just say anything. I don't have to be a people pleaser. I can say no to social events that I don't care for. I don't want to look at your vacation pictures. I do not care to go to your, I don't know, birthday party at times, like just stuff like that. I know that sounds kind of like, a little, but it kind of like bleeds into other parts of your life, where it's just like, I don't have to do what everybody says. I don't have to be part of the mainstream. It's really like a coming of age story for me. Like, I'm really coming in and becoming the person that I'm supposed to be, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think Flat Earth did that to many of us, that same exact thing.
Yeah, but it also gives me more patience with other people, and it gives me more, I want to, kind of like what Mark says, he never would wrong somebody again. Not that you ever did, though, Mark, right? But, we kind of all feel like something could be above us, right? Something could be kind of knows how this place works inside and out, and maybe it's an intelligent designer that put us here for a reason. And to me, it's like, yeah, Flat Earth, like you're saying, Lisbeth, it helps you kind of get rid of the surface stuff in your life and go deeper. And you want to learn how this place works, and you want to build real relationships, and you want to just, again, I give glory to God, because like this place is obviously magical, and I want to know more.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that I hold close to my heart, is that, wow, we have been duped into thinking that we are so insignificant. The whole pale blue dot that Musk talks about and other people have said, it's just like, We are made to believe that we are not at the center. We are made to believe that we're just amongst millions and billions of stars and galaxies and all this other stuff to really just keep us here, even down to the level of like even being on this beautiful topographical flat plane. You know, even the food, they're trying to keep us so docile. So everything. And I know that when you say that to certain people, like especially if they're very blue pilled and very surface level, it could be a lot. So like to touch on your point, DJ, it also has taught me patience with people and patience with myself when I find myself not understanding. But, you know, not to go on a religious dialogue, but and just to keep it short, it has brought me a lot closer to the creator. And I can't even say this enough, because it's something that I experienced personally. I'm sure some of you have as well. It's really changed my life. It's really helped me calm my nervous system, learn to manage my emotions, go back into my divine feminine. And yeah, just everything. I'm just loving this journey and this experience, and I'm just soaking it all in. And even in the moments where I'm ridiculed or I've had loved ones in the past, you know, basically call me crazy or this and that. I mean, if I could get over people that I love or claim to love me in the past, calling me crazy for being a flat earther / conspiracy theorist, then the trolls on the internet and people that I don't know slides off like butter, baby. Who are you? I would have to give you permission in order for you to insult me. And I do not give you permission.
What a healthy attitude. Love it.
Well done.
Love it. You've probably heard... Oh, well, I love that. That's good. You've got to be. I know that in Flat Earth, I wasn't when I first started. I was a little too sensitive, and I let people saying crazy things about me, troll type people, get to me. But in the end, I did toughen up some and realized my own value. And I think Flat Earth helps us all realize our own value. You know, we're not living on a pale blue dot. We're not nothing in the midst of this expansive space that never ends. We are everything, all of us. But okay, the latest bit of information about this event that you're going to be a big part of is that Candace Owens, producer, has a friend who's just been invited to attend, who happens to be not a big one, but a documentary filmmaker. And he happens to be a flat earther. His last name is Morande. I think I may be pronouncing that incorrectly. I think Jonathan is the first name. And this person is, like I said, Candace Owens, producer, who's going to this, who is a glow believer, his close friend, and he says he's a flat earther. Now, none of us here have heard of him as a flat earther, and I was wondering if you, over with Flat Earth Gang at Clubhouse, had ever heard of this person.
So we have not. I heard about the news first when Sharon and Whitsett, we had a little Zoom call, you know, a little Antarctica group meeting about over a week ago. And that's when, you know, Duffy had dropped the news. And, you know, we were kind of like, okay, so this isn't a you pick. This is a Mark pick, you know, which is Candace's producer. And, you know, when I heard that he was a flat earther, I was just kind of like, okay. And then, like, to your point where you're like, well, none of us have heard of him. It dates back to like September when I won the golden ticket. It's like, well, nobody heard of me. And, you know, there was all this skepticism and everything. So,
but
of course, you want to have
people could vouch for you because you have friends who are on Clubhouse. And some of them are here in the chat.
Right. Absolutely. But even that, I mean, we've been told that we were like a long game for Duffy, like an op. Like it's ridiculous.
Wow. Okay.
We'll get into that later. Right. But my main point is, I just saw it as like, okay, I've never heard of him. I've never even heard of any documentaries that he's made, but okay, it's Mark's pick. He's a flat earther. Let's see. And, you know, I trust in Jaron and Whitsett, and I know that they've done their due diligence. I believe that they did a little background digging on him. I don't think that he has any flat earth content, but I believe that maybe they were able to kind of verify, you know, for as much as we can, right, with anybody on the internet, like, are you a true flat earther? What made you a flat earther? I know on the call initially we had like a meet and greet with him. They asked him a few questions, you know, kind of, you know, but again, when you don't know somebody from Adam, you can only take it for, you know, take it with a grain of salt, essentially, you know, and kind of just see how it goes and, you know, kind of build off of there. And, you know, yeah, I guess we're kind of all just like, I guess we'll see, right? We'll see if you really are.
Did he seem to know anything about flat earth? I mean, you're very well versed, so.
He did say a few things on the call, you know, that it's like, okay, well, I mean, you don't sound like you're faking it. But again, I mean, anybody can go online, watch a couple flat earth videos and just have some talking points. I mean, people have even said that about me, and that fine. Absolutely. Everyone's entitled to their opinion and their skepticism. But I mean, I'm trying more in this stage of my life to just give people more the benefit of the doubt. I know that sounds ironic, because it's like, as you become a more down the rabbit hole, more of a conspiracy theorist, or conspiracy realist, let's call it what it really is, you do build up some skepticism. But I also feel like it's good to check ourselves and say, do I have enough discernment where I'm not just going off the handle and calling everything a conspiracy? Or am I looking at things objectively and looking at both sides of the information and allowing the evidence to prove itself? So when it comes to people, I've heard what you said. You said a couple points that I'm like, okay, you could be legit. Now it's going to matter how we move forward. Yeah. How are you going to act? Body language, you know, conversation when we're down there on the ice, and, you know, obviously the unknown. What is this documentary going to be? Is it going to be a hit piece? But again, that is why we have things like contracts in place, because hopefully we can keep a level of respect this time around.
Right. Very true. And there's no way to stop any kind of documentary or any kind of hit piece. And there have been so many of them already. And guess what? We're still here.
Right.
So.
And I'm not necessarily worried, Patricia and DJ already know, which is, and you might too, Lisbeth, which is it's really tough to fake being a flat earther. Extremely tough. You either know it or you don't. And come on, if you're going to spend 10 days in close quarters with Jaron and Austin, good luck. You would last 2 seconds if you were an actual globe believer. There is no way you can come up with the verbiage. They are sniffed out. Granted, I'm not really good at sniffing them out just because I'm busy thinking about other things. But when we do conferences, people are sniffed out instantly. Because it's something. It's not just something in the verbiage. It's something in the eyes. It's something in the attitude. It's almost like they're trying to fake it and keep a straight face, but they're nervous at the same time. Flat earthers at our gatherings are never nervous about anything. So yeah, to your point, Lisbeth, we'll find out real quick. You'll probably find out on the plane ride down. Which brings me to this, since you know probably better than anybody. So it's an 8-man roster at this point, right? 8 people. Do you know them? Mm-hmm. So you've got on our side, you've got you, Jaron, Austin, and maybe this guy, right? Maybe. I know that Duffy's immediately. It's like, oh, it's 4 and 4. It's like, okay, yeah, we'll see. But you've got the filmmaker, you've got Candace Owens, producer, and then the 2 dedicated trolls are, who are they again, guys? Do we know? Do you know, Lisbeth?
Dave Are McKeegan? We talking about MC Toon?
Yes.
MC Toon.
And there's one more.
Dave McKeegan.
Oh, is McKeegan? Is he actually the confirmed?
Oh, McKeegan's definitely.
Oh, okay.
Going.
Then
yeah,
there. Okay.
Sure.
So yeah, two dedicated. McKeegan's way bigger in terms of his channel. Again, love the fact that a photography channel makes a flat earth video, anti-flat earth video. It's like, flat earth's dumb, gets a whole bunch of hits. It's like, you know what? I'm going to keep doing these. And then he gets verified, he gets sponsors, and his numbers just keep going up and up, which he sucks. So have you been in contact with have any of those guys reached out to you?
Not directly. I mean, we're kind of like in a group chat now that we're like, Antarctica bound, just to kind of talk logistics and so forth. But the only person that I have had, just direct communication with is MC Toon. We kind of date back to a few months ago. And yeah, he's the only person that I've ever actually exchanged words with, just on a me and him level.
Got it. Should be it.
It's so interesting, right? I mean, it's like the globe side and the flat side get on a plane together and go to Antarctica to solve this mystery. And these are like the world's biggest flat earth trolls that you're going to be with. And I get trusting God, amen. But at the same time, having a little bit of skepticism is probably healthy. Just we have made it no secret on this channel that we are questioning Duffy's motives. And Duffy, we know you might be listening, and it's like, we're praying for you. Just because you see a 24-hour sun or not doesn't mean that we're back in outer space. it just means this place doesn't work the way that we've been told, or even you've been told. All right, so go easy on our friends here. We're trusting you with them, and she's obviously being very trusting, and so we're just like, hey, do the right thing. That's like my hope for Will Duffy, because yeah, you got to have the mindset you have, Lisbeth, to kind of help you sleep at night, right? I mean, I get it.
Yeah, and
absolutely. And
go ahead, guys.
I was going to mention that the contract that was signed by Jaron and Whitsitt, and I don't know about yours that Dave helped you with. I don't know if they're exactly the same or what, but they involve not being a part of a documentary, from what I heard from Jaron. They don't want to be a part of any kind of hit piece. They would maybe do a documentary themselves if it works out the way that some say that the Flat Earth model should work. But what with the addition of this new guy, the documentary filmmaker, flat earther, friend of Candace Owens' producer, does the way that the paperwork is written, the contract, exclude this new person from making a documentary and including flat earthers in it? Or is it just the people that were involved aren't allowed to make a documentary up until the point before he was invited along? That worries me.
So that's a very good question. That is something that I had brought up last week in the chat, because I said, okay, well, Jaron and Whitsitt have their contracts with Duffy. And of course, like, I don't know everything that's in their contracts. And obviously that's probably confidentiality between them. I know that my contract probably doesn't go as big into detail just because I didn't have as many things like as Jaron and Whitsitt. For me, it was more about protecting my likeness, not having to have any financial liability. If God forbid I were to get sick and couldn't go on this trip, not happening. We are on that elderberry. And, just more or less like, if we're going to be filming each other, like, we need to let each other know. But I realized, well, that's just with Duffy. Now that we have all these other people going, like, it's not like I have a direct contract with MC Toon. I don't have a direct contract with Dave McKeegan or Mark, Candace's producer, and now Jonathan. So I did ask in the chat, I'm a big question asker. And I said, hey guys, regarding individual contracts amongst ourselves, are we going to verbally agree or even have it, because you can use it in a court of law, like technically messages, and it's, if you agree to something, and are we going to verbally agree or via chat, like, agree that we're going to let each other know that we're filming each other? Like, no, like, coming out of the tent and you got sleepy dust in your eyes or anything, like even something as simple as that. Like, let's not film each other being embarrassing or like in our most intimate moments. Like, I would hope nobody is that desperate for content that they would need to do that, So, when I brought that up, it was like, that's a very good question. So I don't know if it's going to be we're signing papers specifically with all of us individually, or if the group chat is going to be enough. Those are questions that I hope to be answered, obviously, super soon.
Yeah. It just occurred to me while you guys were talking that it could be that when this Candace Owens, his name is Mark, Candace Owens' producer.
Yes.
Right. It could be that Mark invited him, again, I'm just spitballing here, to be his own personal cameraman in this case, where it's like, because I'm pretty sure that Candace Owens' producer was going to shoot his own stuff, but now he'd be like, dude, do me a solid and shoot stuff for me,
the word documentary was used by Will Duffy in his video that now a documentary is going to be made. So
in the end, just for the chat room, just so you guys know, because I've done this a few times, you have to sign, which is all producers will tell you this, and this is a daily push by every producer. You have to sign the release form. You cannot be shot and then sell your image to somebody without the release form. Now, once you sell it, then you're screwed, because then they can do anything you want. I mean, the stuff that Patricia and I did is going to be on Netflix and Amazon forever, right? Long after we're gone. But if you don't sign it, they can't use it. You can be sued into the frickin' ground. So just again, I'm not too worried now that I know a little bit more about this, because this guy it's one thing to pretend to be a flat earther, but to be a flat earth documentary maker in front of these, in close quarters with our crew, nah. No, I think Lisbeth alone could sniff him out in 2 seconds, given the group she's been hanging out with. So
well, it just adds another layer to the mystery of what's really going to happen. It's kind of exciting, and we're all having. I feel like if we really had that bad of feelings about it, you get a lot more people warning you just not to go. So I don't think we're at that level. And you said that Duffy's been very professional, and I know that he's acting like he is in some of these videos. We have our suspicions, which I think is fair given the history of this whole topic.
Sure.
But it's just kind of like the Flat Earth movie again. And my mind is just going back. It feels like, okay, when the animals are in the Serengeti and it's been a drought for a long time, and they find that one watering hole, and you get the gazelles and the cheetahs and the lions all drinking water at the same time, kind of looking over each other's shoulder, taking those slow sips, and at any second, boom, someone's going to try to make a strike, and then you got to pounce, or, So we're saying watch your back, but hey, God's with you.
All right, let's do this really quick. Lisbeth, can you hang with us for the second segment or not? You good?
Oh, absolutely.
All right,
yeah,
we're
good to go.
let's.
Mark, can I just interrupt you
No,
and
I don't
just
think
say
so.
that Jaronism is in the chat, and this is apropos. I should bring it up now before we go to the break, because we'll forget. Jaron says he just popped in to say that we have final edit approval on any documentary or video.
Yeah,
so that's really good to know.
And
Thanks, Jaron.
if you were gonna go, let me say this before we run, because I got to run the Fast Earth Clue as we go to break, which is Jaron, of all people, is probably the guy you want to go with, because he is absolutely he's been waiting for the day to shut down somebody. Bitten once, he is not going to, because again, he was one of the last people to sign off on the first one, and he regrets it because, they burned him in the end. So he won't let him happen again. Doesn't matter if this guy's the guy that's coming, the friend of Candace Owens guy, if he's the friendliest guy in the world. Jaron's going to be like, yeah, I'm not signing anything until I see the footage, which will be, as you know, tricky to do. But if anyone can pull it off, it'll be Jaron.
All right, Jaron. Shout out to Jaron and Witsit, because you kind of really are going with Flat Earth rock stars, girl. Yeah. I mean, it couldn't have been a cooler group of the three of you, so it's very exciting. And shout out to Jaron, dude. Love you. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to run the 60 seconds that'll change your life. This one is on Neil deGrasse Tyson. You won't hear it, so, Elizabeth, you'll just see it. I don't know if you watched it. And when we come back, I'll show off a little bit, and I have to announce the meetups too. We still have 2 meetups in the holidays. You guys, stop doing meetups during the holidays, for God's sakes. All right, anyway, what happens when I hit this button? So my Flat Earth friends message me and say, Mark, is Tyson still on your radar? What do you mean, the guy who was paid $20 million not to kill Jake Paul? Oh, you mean Space Tyson. Funny you should mention that. For those who are new, let's review. Neil deGrasse Tyson is an American astrophysicist, author, has a show on National Geographic, runs a planetarium, and currently is the #1 media scientist in the world. There are only 3. If you want overblown, nerdy answers to burning questions, he's still the guy, unless you count Elon, which I do not. He went after Flat Earth rapper B.O.B. in 2016, but since then he's been helping us with his poor choice of words. Remember when he called the world pear-shaped? Remember when he said the Red Bull jump was dishonest and the horizon was flat? That is just gold covered in gravy. He probably shouldn't have been so loud about his left-leaning politics, but then again, it was an election year. Now that Blue Team is on the ropes, he's on the defensive. Shout out Bill Maher for showing no mercy. Short version, I hope he finds time between interviews to come at us again, because as you know, we just keep growing. Do your own research and catch up on a Flat Earth foe fumbling around in the dark of fake space. Whatever. I'm done. Okay, we're going straight into the break. Just so you know, Lisbeth, you got like 3 minutes to do whatever you want. Oh, you're doing great. No, you're
Introducing the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock App Meetup Maker. Never miss another meetup again. You can look up meetups in several different ways. Sort by date. You can search by location or within a 500-mile radius. To create and list your own meetup.
Oh yeah, no, it's hot mics. We do this deliberately.
Give the meetup a name, a location name.
Oh, that's right. They might not be able to hear Patricia. They may just be able to
Add
hear
a
me.
photo. Enter
Which is
your
fine, 'cause it's all about
contact
me.
information. Create a group chat name and then fill out the description with all of the details. Select your background color and hit the save button to add your meetup to the list. Once the meetup is saved, it will ask you to create a group chat for all of the meetups so people can join the group and start a local chat community. Select public group. Add your welcome message, and your meetup is now available for all to see. To make sure you don't miss another meetup in your area, you can select your desired radius and whether you want push notifications or email or both. Whenever a new meetup is added in your selected radius, you get notified. The Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock Meetup Maker, bringing people together all around the plane.
Join me, Karen B, every moon day at 9:30 a.m. for Coffee Talk on YouTube, Rumble, and Rockfin. You never know what you'll learn about in the coffee shop. Open topic and open phones, y'all. And also for meetups, local meetups. If you want to have your meetup listed on flatearthfestivals.com for free, please email flatearthfestivals@protonmail.com.
Welcome back to Strange World, part 2 of 2. It's you, me, the always perfect Patricia Steere, the always delightful DJ Curious, and the always frozen Lisbeth Costa. Just a quick reminder, our Christmas Eve Lisbeth Memorial Show and fundraiser will be on Tuesday the 24th. We'll probably also do one for Jaron and Austin, and yeah, so it'll be awesome. We'll do a GoFundMe for it. It'll be very tasteful, so don't worry, Lisbeth. Where was I doing?
Hey, was that Stepping Out that was played earlier? Did we miss it?
Oh, I know. Pete's losing his mind. And you know what? That was Joe Jackson stepping out from his album.
Quick, Lisbeth, what does the sun and the moon represent?
I'm sorry?
What do the sun and the moon represent?
I'm sorry. I'm like, is that a trick question?
No.
It's not a trick question. What do the sun and the moon represent? Quick, go, Lisbeth.
Night and day.
Night and day.
Yay! Look at that. She got it.
She nailed it.
That's awesome. Okay, 2 quick things. Yeah, moon and sun, says Peanut. 2 quick things. There's 2 meetups that are going to be happening during the holidays. So one is going to be next week, actually 3 days from now, December 6th in Tennessee. That meetup is on my channel. The one on December 21st, which is usually the Southern New York meetup, is going to be in Collegeville, Pennsylvania, on the other side of the border. December 21st, again, not to be confused with the Lisbeth Memorial, which is going to be on Christmas Eve, the 24th. And do you want to plug the one you're going to? Or is that one private? The one you're doing in New York City?
So it is more of an intimate gathering. We will be in New York City, but I have a couple friends that are also coming, going to go on their TikTok lives, and one of my friends who's a journalist in New York, do a little interview and so forth. So we're there to just paint the town flat.
All right. So it's more of an elitist thing. You're not inviting people. That's good. No, I get it.
You can't sit with us.
Nice. All right. I want to show off, just so you guys know. If you guys think, Lisbeth, she's the golden ticket winner. No, let me show you what I've had for the last 15 freaking years. This is an actual golden ticket signed by Mike TV, otherwise known as Paris Themin, and it's got Gene Wilder at the top, the late Gene Wilder. You know, he died some years ago. And then at the bottom, see if I can hold it up for you guys, is all the kids. So all the kids' signature. I think all the kids are still alive. And they're all signed there. Gene Wilder's not on that one. That's why he's on the one up above. But yeah, there you go. An actual golden ticket. I try to surround myself with lucky things. And this is one of them. So there you go.
When did you get that? Like, how old were you?
Oh, not that old. I was in Colorado, and it had to have been, it had to have been like 2010, maybe 29. I should probably look on there. But it was funny because the Mike TV, if you remember the movie, you know, the kid with the hat and the cat pistols, he didn't really do much after that. And so at one point he's like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to start doing reproduction golden tickets and sign them and sell them. And so he did. And he and I developed a dialogue. And so when Tim Burton did the reboot of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which I did not like that very much. I was
so bad.
We discussed, it's like, did they reach out to any of the cast members? Like, nope, nobody got called at all, you know, from the original cast. So it's like, yeah, sucks. But
yeah, that was a horrible movie too. And Johnny Depp was just weird. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was Tim Burton, so of course he was going to pick Johnny Depp. But
yeah, but sometimes Tim Burton can hit it out of the park, like Mars Attacks.
That's true. No, I know Tim Burton. He's done a ton of stuff, and he loves using Sleepy Hollow. Probably my favorite Depp Burton combo ever that he ever did.
Yeah.
Sleepy Hollow I thought was wonderful. Not a kids movie. A lot of kids were at that movie. I saw parents like dragging. You know, the kids were crying. It's like, no, it's a dark little flick. Tim Burton, he's got some things happening up there. Some cobwebs, and they're dark. Anyway,
I do have to say that there are many people in the chat and who are going to be listening to this later who are very skeptical of any flat earther who is going to Antarctica, period, and skeptical of Will Duffy, skeptical of perhaps there being some shenanigans going on while everyone is trying to observe what the sun is doing. They're skeptical of everything. Now, I am a skeptical person, and we all are. Otherwise, we wouldn't all be here. But I actually received a personal email from Will Duffy. And no, he wasn't asking me to go on the observation, nor was he attempting to win me over to his side for any reason whatsoever. But it was just a very nice personal note that he wrote me that was only kindness. And he didn't try to correspond with me after he sent it. And it was just kind of out of the blue and very nice. And I know when we watch Will Duffy, because he's a glober, we can look at him and we can see what we want to project on a glober. You know, somebody who's tricking, somebody who's lying, somebody who might be working for the government, somebody who might be doing something a little bit shady. And I'm not here to say that Will Duffy isn't any of those things. But I do have the experience of speaking with him through an email that he didn't need to send me, but did just to be nice. And he didn't expect me to speak about it here. And that gives him a little positive in my book as a human being. Now, I'm not going to say that I haven't been duped by people before, because if anyone has known me since I've been in Flat Earth since 2015, I have been duped by people. But we all have. So when it comes to everything involving this event, I am, although I'm still skeptical, I am wishing the best for all the globe believers that are going or that are watching, and all the flat earthers who are going and are watching, and for the whole event. And to do it, get it done, and then move on with more things that are in store for all of us in the flat earth journey. It is definitely not the end of flat earth if it turns out the way that many of us think might not be so great.
My quick rebuttal to that, Patricia, because again, I love the fact that you're giving Will Duffy the benefit of the doubt. One, people are kind to you because, well, you're attractive and you have witch-like powers, and he's afraid.
Well, no, his kindness to me was in no way flirty.
Oh, no,
in no way.
No.
I mean, you know,
no.
It was just.
I think it was
nice.
I think it was probably fear-based. Because, you know, I wouldn't wish to do anything malicious, especially against you. Seriously, people don't know. She has wands, magic wands. They do horrible, horrible things. People think I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. Absolutely not kidding.
Well, people have died.
People have died. Not kidding. But Will Duffy, look, he's a salesman. I understand what he's doing. I give him credit for the fact he put this thing together. It was on shoestrings, and at one point, and Lisbeth might be able to chime in on this, I don't know, because remember, they dropped below the minimum of 8 people to 7 for a brief span. What happens if they would have been under the numbers? Would this thing have just fallen apart? Did they have to get 8 people?
So I don't know if it needed to be 8 people or if there was just going to be something that would have needed to change in order for it. But I don't believe that the whole trip just would have fallen apart. And just throughout this process and getting to know Duffy, at least, via virtually and just seeing how things have come into play, he doesn't come off as the type of person that would take no for an answer or would let this thing fall apart. So I do strongly believe he would have made it happen one way or another.
Right. That one more thing I want to throw in there, because if I don't, I'll forget it. When he mentioned recently, Jaron mentioned it on our show, and he was on here. And by the way, Austin, where are you? We'll do a special show for you. Was Austin in the chat room at all? Did anyone see him in the chat room?
No.
Austin, come on. Man, we got to get you on here before. Otherwise, come on, the memorial's not going to work as well. Sorry, is that out loud?
Mark,
we'll just call it the Lisbeth Memorial. I'm sorry. It'll be very tasteful. So what I was getting at was,
well, I thought that was interesting. They are forcing everyone on the plane. That was also the flat earth side. There's like, no, we're not taking, like Jaron said, the La Bamba with the flat earth crew. Let's all be on one plane. It's like, we really got to cover our tracks with all this shit. Right. It's crazy.
Right.
The Jaron mentioned the quiet hours. Had you heard anything about that up until recently?
So that was actually something in the beginning when I had first spoke to Jaron and with it, that they even said, hey, we actually brought this up to Duffy. He had no idea about quiet hours, and this was way before Golden Ticket, way before I was ever involved. They were just kind of catching me up to speed after I won. And, I know that some people have mentioned it before, but again, I don't know anybody who's been to Antarctica. So this was the first time hearing information like that. And I was like, oh, they lock us in our tents. Well, not like with lock, obviously. I hope not. And, from the hours of, I think, 10 to 4, not sure if those are the exact hours. And, for whatever reason, if it's like to not disturb each other because people should be sleeping at those times, etc., or to not get lost and go wander off. But yeah, when they brought that up, it was very much like a moment, like quiet hours, very interesting. But we got special permission to not abide by that, and that is obviously another reason as to why Jaron and Witsit agreed to the trip. Like, we're not going to go down there if we have to abide by these like rules.
My only skepticism with when somebody says, oh no, again, from what Jaron said, it was secondhand, meaning Will Duffy said, oh no, he got permission. You know how those things go. You show up at the club, it's like, oh dude, we totally got in. You show up at a club, it's like, no, you're not getting past us, right? Even though your friend said, oh, I totally got an inroad. If that'd be the only thing skeptical. I don't like wasted trips, so it would be really unfortunate. You guys are going to have to keep us posted. If all of a sudden you get down there and then it's like, I don't know who you were talking to. No, quiet hours are still in effect, because that will put a huge damper on everything, because then you'll have to set up the cameras remotely, and I don't even know if you're allowed to do that unsupervised. So whatever.
Well, allow me to provide this insight. So when I was assigned, our ALE representative, the one who sends us the information and everything, I was actually looking through the required clothing checklist. So I had a question regarding fabrics, like for the second and third layer. So, she obviously had her information at the bottom of the email. I gave her a call. Super sweet lady. She's been working there for about like 12 years. I don't want to say her name just in case, if she doesn't want her information out there. But, she's been working for the company for 12 years. It's out of state, Salt Lake City, Utah. I'm not sure exactly where she is stationed, but I'm assuming somewhere around there. And because we got on the conversation about fabrics, and I was just asking her about it, like, how strict is it? Like, how strict are these? And, obviously female questions, female to female, like, what do we do with certain things? She was very sweet to answer them. I decided to take my chance, and I was like, so has anybody gone down there to film, a 24-hour sun, or have any of your colleagues or have any of your guests? And she's like, No, actually, I've never heard of any of my colleagues doing that in the 12 years. We've never had a group come down. In fact, the closest group that we've ever had coming down to do something quote unquote sciency has been a group that came down. You know, she obviously did not reveal the name for confidentiality purposes, just like when you go to a hotel, that they went to film the solar eclipse that occurred in 2021. So, you know, she said your group is going to not abide by the quiet hours. So I got the confirmation from her. Now, again, just like you said, Mark, we could get down there and it's like your friend at the club. Well, man, the bouncer told us 2 days ago, but now the club is too full and now we can't even get, you know, that kind of scenario.
Right?
But I felt good.
Nice.
Right. Absolutely. I felt good hearing it straight from her.
All right.
You know, like, again, she's not the president of ALE, but just being able to take my opportunity on that phone call to ask her those questions, you know, kind of helped me, you know, and then of course reporting back to like Witsit and Jaron, like, hey, I actually spoke to our representative and she did say we're not abiding by this. So it's not just like Duffy's confirming this, it's also like the representative. So now we have two people. So hopefully, you know, that helps a little bit.
I'm hoping that's the case because, yeah, I mean, up until Jaron had brought up, I didn't even know that was a thing, you know, and I'd read all sorts of stuff on Antarctica, and it's like, I mean, it kind of makes sense, you know, even if you're drinking or whatever. I don't know what sort of access to alcohol you guys have down there, but they don't want people stumbling out into the ice. I'd like to say the snow, but it's not just snow. I mean, Antarctica is just a freaking block of ice. So, cool. I'm glad.
Well, what was the biggest argument about these quiet hours?
Because that might be a time when the sun could have been seen doing things.
Well,
are they trying to have quiet hours to hide the truth?
I mean,
that's what people were thinking.
It's going to be interesting for your group, Lisbeth, because it's not like you're just not abiding by quiet hours. You're deliberately, all of you are going to, you know, supposedly be, again, the timing's going to be weird. At least one of those days, you're just not going to bed. Everyone's just going to be staying up for 24 hours and parking themselves out in the snow and you know, trying to keep warm while the cameras are running. So there was some. There was something.
Well, I'm just thinking, wouldn't they let you just run the cameras 24 hours even if you're sleeping or not, and then you would know the next day if they got tampered with? Or I mean, is that kind of so? It's better this way. We don't have to have that concern. We can just stay up all night if you have to and guard the cameras. I mean, this is so crazy. I love it.
I think we want to do it in shifts just because we want to make sure that there's somebody out there consistently. So I think we're doing it like military style in shifts. I mean, we'll talk tighter logistics, but that, at least in my mind, I was like, that would be best case scenario, right? Because to ask one person or all of us to stay up for 24 hours, that might be a lot, especially after such a long trip, days of travel. You know, traveling, of course, is exhausting in itself. So I think that the best course of action would be to take our shifts, you know, and of course, and trust in each other, like make sure, say if it freezes and we need to change a battery, at least there's someone there. Because it would suck if we're all asleep, we let the cameras run and then it gets too cold or a snowstorm comes and then we lost all the footage. That would really, that would be a bummer,
right?
You know?
No, it's true. And then of course the memorial. Hey, Peanut, the I wanted to mention real quick what. So the 24th, yeah, Peanut talks from the military.
Don't let him get in your
head. The military side. I'm not trying to jinx you, Memorial.
Some people don't understand Mark's humor. So.
Right, it's dark. It's
no, I love it.
I wanted to mention because I want to ask Peanut really quick. So, what's standard military rotation for coverage? Is that 2 hour? Is it 2 hour shifts? I think if you're staying up all night, like you want to have the first shift, then you get to sleep the rest of the night. Isn't it like 2 hours? It's not 1 hour. I think it's 2 hours a pop. He's typing in really fast. Depends on the crew size. Yeah, you're right. Well, they've only got 3 of them that they can count on, but three should be fine. 3 2-hour shifts. That should be fine. Again, not that you guys are going to be
a 3 hour tour.
I mean, because you're not going to have. I mean, it's going to be daylight most of the time anyway. So I am curious like anybody. I mean, if you've listened to me talk about any of this stuff, Lisbeth, you know that, I mean, one of the reasons I turned down the Antarctica trip, one, I don't like to hang out in close quarters with dedicated trolls. The globalists just drive me nuts. I don't even like when they show up at conferences. I mean, I can hang with them for a couple minutes, but 10 days, oh no, that would go down as one of the worst weeks of my life. But the other thing was it doesn't have, like we were talking about earlier, it doesn't have any bearing for me on the more important things. Again, nobody gets into flat Earth because of the sun. They get in because of the level of water, long distance photography, other aspects of physics. They never get in because of the sun, especially the Antarctic sun. And this test at the end of the day won't have anything to do with gravity. It won't have anything to do with the curvature, and it definitely won't have anything to do with every space program that's ever been put forth. So I wasn't trying to bow out, wasn't taking the coward's way out. I was like, look, I'm the last guy you want down there, because I've been talking about this for 10 years. It's like, okay, fine. Let's say the sun doesn't set in 24 hours. Then I go, all right, what sort of reaction what you want for me? I'm not going to give you much for the cameras. So
yeah, there's nothing final about it.
No.
Right?
Again, to DJ's point, it's not a final experiment. It's the only experiment.
And it's not an experiment.
No.
It's
an
observation.
Yeah, there you go. It's an observation. You sitting in chairs staring at the sky is not an experiment. You're just staring at the sky and verifying something that the tour guides should have one way or the other. Or again, this all would have been solved. Not to go off on a quick little rant. Jaron and the late Bob Nodell and everybody else, this would have been solved years ago if it wasn't for the the chopped, edited Antarctic footage from the stations, which they went time and time again to where, Jaron went on this huge email campaign. It's like, why can't you show us 24-hour footage of the sun? And then the doctored stuff that was put out where, they had the same cloud formations when you came back 24 hours later. It's like, wait a minute. Why can't you just give us one authentic 24-hour run? And then they come back. It's like, well, when it's dark, the camera doesn't record. It's like, yeah, but it's not dark. That's the point. That's what we're looking for here. If it's light based. Anyway, sorry. Are you, when you go down, Lisbeth, what's your initial, let's take it a different route. What are, other than the test and hanging out with Globe Trolls and hanging out with two of the greatest guys ever, Jaron and Austin, what other things you hoping to get out of this trip? 10 days of what? Self-discovery, enlightenment, what?
Definitely, again, an ability to be part of an experience where the conversation can be pushed further after this, right? I feel like with this one claim, of course, and I mean, it's kind of crazy because it's like been put on the whole flat Earth community. If you haven't noticed, it's like, I don't remember all of us saying that or claiming, the whole, oh, this is it. This is what will debunk all of flat Earth. Like, again, we have a theoretical PhD physicist who is very much a Glover, who even is like, no, this doesn't. This just gives you implications on your model. And it's like, well, we don't even have a model. Remember, you're the theoretical physicist. You're the one that plays with models and predictions. We play with the scientific method, which is observable, repeatable, so in that regards, it's just, again, enlightenment, the self-discovery, the human empathy part, like, again, you can't expect you out of other people, but what you can do is allow people the opportunity to just be themselves. Like, listen, people can be different on the internet. I'm the same person just because I am who I am. I'm not a content creator. I have no other choice but to be me. I don't have, like I don't have an incentive to be anyone else, essentially. And I'm sure, you guys seem pretty genuine and everything. So for me, it's just like, if who you are on the internet portrays who you are in real life, then I respect that, because then that means you're standing on business and you're not a little keyboard warrior for clickbait and likes. If you're different, then is it just that you're playing, like, essentially like how they use in the wrestling world? Like, are you playing a heel? Like, are you playing a certain character?
Right.
And for me, I mean, maybe just because I'm a girly, I really like more like the psychological, philosophical, more like emotional side of things. Like, is there going to be human empathy? Like, with MC Toon and I, we had a little bit of beef, still kind of, from months ago over an unrelated non-TFE issue, and it's kind of just like, with the same vitriol that you kind of treated me before in emails, are you going to bring that also down to the ice? Because I can't imagine someone being that way, and again, it's not here to talk bad on him or just anybody. I like to give people the opportunity.
No, talk bad, please.
Unfortunately, well, I just want to be honest. Unfortunately, the experience that I had with him specifically wasn't the greatest. And, I'm sure he has his side of the story of things, and there was a miscommunication. And, you know, I guess where we're at now, it's been kind of cleared up, the miscommunication. And I'm just kind of like on a, okay, I'm going to back up and see what you do and see if you're consistent and all that. And again, I reserve that right? Because if my experience with you is that we had a disagreement over a miscommunication and there was some beef essentially, and now you're coming around and saying like, you know, let's just squash the beef, then let's see if you're going to stick to that, or are you going to switch up when we're down there and, you know, you're going to come back and tell all your viewers how dumb we are and all this other stuff. And again, to each their own. I just really, again, I just allow people to reveal who they are. People will just show you who they are. I think we spend a lot of our time in our life wanting to see the potential in people, and you can't fall in love with potential. I've definitely learned those hard lessons in intimate relationships and friendships and partnerships, etc. And now it feels more liberating and freeing when you just take a step back and just, you know, see people for who they are. And honestly, in a sense, love people at the level that they're at, but at a distance if you want, you know?
Yeah, I feel all that. It's so interesting. So there's so many layers to this whole thing. It's a little bit of a social experiment. It's very flat earth. The real world with the Globers getting together, and I think having a girl like yourself who thinks like that, going, let's see what happens with the humanity after this, because you will be interacting in close quarters. Maybe they'll play nice, put on a smile, and maybe they go back to still being trolls. Who knows? It's so much as like, that's the fun part, and we're so happy to have you on the show because we're all just, we don't know what's going to happen. First of all, we don't know what they're going to see. We don't know how they're going to interact. And we don't know what their motives are. So we can only just, again, hope and pray and give people the benefit of the doubt. That's what we're doing, Duffy. Like, we're here to, the flat side, like the Globers don't need to worry about the flat side doing something deceptive to their cameras in the middle of the night. You know what I mean? Like the flat side is just, they're the trustworthy side. That's just what we've been as what I've experienced, and that's why I'm here. And I've seen the cracks in the mainstream narrative about the heliocentric model. So we're just trying to figure out, you know, again, a little bit more information on the flat model. But getting back to when, because I listened on the Clubhouse, the stream of when you got announced, and they were going crazy. They were screaming. They were so happy for you. You know, bring us back to that moment, because I'm really curious how your mom or like your family, how they reacted. And what have you kind of, how is this, it's opening up conversations, I would imagine. So what's been going on in your personal life there?
Okay, so to get a little personal, when I first heard about the golden ticket, it wasn't something that I went straight to Flat Earth Gang and told them. And not for any other reason other than, like, sometimes I like to surprise the gang. Sometimes, you know, they've known me now for about a little over a year. So they're like, Liz likes to do her thing and then come back and give us a little surprise. And that's just like naturally just who I've always been. I'm always like a surprisey person. And like, I literally get such a high, for lack of a better word, seeing people that I love be happy, you know, and being there for them and having them be there for me, etc. So when I entered, obviously, because I told you it was my friend Bert who was like, girl, this is your chance. It was just me, him, and my best friend Kelsey, obviously. And I brought it up to my mom. I'll tell you right now, when I first told my mom about Antarctica, hey, I want to go on Antarctica, you know, flat earth versus globe earth. Like, she already knew I was a flat earther. There's actually a funny story that I'll bring back. It was on a mother-daughter trip. It was actually pretty funny. You know, and she's like, I'm just going to say I'm Latina. So like, if you know, like with Latina moms. And she was just like, oh, Lisbeth. Oh, no, like, no, you just gone too far. You know, because I lived in China for 4 years. She supported me there. You know, everything that I wanted to do in my life, my mom has been very supportive in the sense of like, you are my little risk taker. You know, you are you are different. You've always been different. And, you know, that's just it. I'm also her only child. Like, I have half siblings, but I am her only child. And I was raised with her. She was a single mom, you know, and she did a great job, you know. I mean, at least I'd like to think so, right? So, you know, when she was just like, oh, Lisbeth, you took it too far. No, I can't do this. But then, of course, she hears about Candace Owens being invited, and my mom's a huge Candace Owens fan. So, Candace, if you're tuning in, my mom loves you. She subscribed. She has your conspiracy theorist cup. She has your thermos, everything. You know, then she was just like, oh, well, you know, if Candace Owens is involved, then maybe. And I'm like, yeah, okay. So, you know, I kept it from Flat Earth Gang, and it wasn't until that Wednesday, September 18th, which obviously was the day of the announcement. I didn't even tell them when I was a finalist, nothing. So as they were talking in the house, because they were in there every day, about, you know, they brought it up. They're like, oh, this golden ticket. Oh, now this, you know, blah, 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 you know, whatever. And, you know, they weren't being negative about it, but, you know, everybody has like their differences of opinion. I was like dying on mute.
Oh,
Like
wow.
literally just like, oh, I want to say something. But I'm trying to keep this a secret and whatever. And I have a feeling that a few of them kind of knew what I was up to, because I wear my heart and my emotions on my sleeve. I don't have a poker face. So you can just tell when I'm up to something, because I'm like, So yeah, that Wednesday I was really nervous, and I kind of had like an existential crisis where my best friend had to like bring me back down to earth. I was like, what am I doing? I'm doing the most irresponsible thing ever. And, maybe, and she's like, okay, we're going to breathe. We're going to just calm down. She's wonderful with that. That is why she's my best friend for, basically a decade now. And we've been through so much together. So shout out to Kelsey again. And, we went in there, it was getting ready. We were about to go live at 4 p.m. And I'm doing my makeup in the bathroom, and I'm like, I've never been live on YouTube. I don't even know how to do this. What if I look dumb, And I'm like, oh, whatever. People call me dumb every day. I don't care. So,
What happened? Lost your audio for a sec?
Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
Can you hear?
Yep.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yep, it just died, so I switched it. So yeah, so I was so nervous that Kelsey was like, okay, how about this? How about instead of keeping this a full secret, now that it's the day and we're literally a couple hours away, let's go into the room and I'll tell Flat Earth Gang, that you are, that you're a finalist. And, I think that right now what you really need is the love and support from your family, your tribe. So like, I know you have me and Bert and your mom, but like, I think what's really important is to have them know, because that they're going to be super stoked regardless, So she did. She announced it for me. Of course, they were like, as you heard, DJ, like if you heard from the beginning, even before, they're like, okay, Liz, all right, whatever. And then they streamed it audio, and my reaction and their reaction, it was all in real time. There were tears, there were laughter, there was screaming, there was like, change the title, she won. It was
It went on. It went on for a few minutes. It was like a standing ovation feeling kind of a vibe through the phone, and just people so happy, because it is true. When you get into a flat earth kind of gang like you guys are, we need those relationships. We need our friendships to keep us going. I mean, shout out to my best friend, who has been someone like an ear to lend while I went and processed this stuff, because you end up losing other friends and stuff. So has your mom, I mean, did she end up being excited for you at this point? Because the Flat Earth Gang, they gave you so much love. That was exactly what you needed. And I love the story of you kind of waiting and doing this big reveal, because it just added to the whole experience.
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely excited. I think now that it's down to the wire, she's definitely getting those mom nerves, which is understandable. I mean, I'm not a mother myself, so I understand that I don't understand, but I understand to a level of like, my loved one is really going down there with people that I don't know. And I mean, I don't think that she's thinking the worst of the worst, but at the same time, I think that with her, it's just like some nerves, and just like, okay, are you going to be safe? Are these men going to keep you safe? You're the only woman going. Like, I don't want to put any bad juju out there or anything crazy, but I just want to make sure my baby, I'll always be her baby in her eyes, so yeah. I would say that, as far as the love and support, Flat Earth Gang, the rest of my family, I don't think knows. I think they know I'm going to Antarctica, but I mean, it's not, again, like it's one of those things where it's just like, if I don't go around and I'm like, guess what I'm doing? Guess what I'm doing? Guess what I'm doing? I'm kind of like, if it gets brought up in conversation and we're doing it, especially when it first happened, I kind of wanted to give myself that special time to process it in myself and be happy, because sometimes when we have so many outside opinions, it could kind of bring down, your excitement. And I kind of just wanted to sit in that bubble, because one of the things that I'm definitely practicing in my life too is learning to be in the present moment and really enjoying it, because oftentimes the process is more exciting and more magical than the destination itself. Once we get to the destination, we did it. And I'm not talking about a physical destination, I'm just talking about anything in life. We realize, like, we look back and we're like, but the process was the most fun. It was those moments where I didn't know, and it was an emotional roller coaster, and it did this, and it taught me this, and it taught me resilience, and there was just so much. And I get so much out of like self-growth and just wanting to consistently evolve, into the person that I'm supposed to be. And yeah, like I said, it's just been this great experience. And I know that we don't always get things in life. Not all of us have support in this life. And I just feel very blessed, to have number one, Kelsey, my best friend in the whole entire world, Flat Earth Gang. I always said that my best friends are on the internet and live far away. That's literally what it is. I mean, we're on this audio app. We sometimes fall asleep and wake up in the room together. We eat dinner together. We have late night chats together. We go down rabbit holes together. We theorize together. We debate. We've seen each other on our bad days, on our good days. It's just really the human experience. And it's just so, I don't have enough words to describe it, but I'm sure it's at a level that you guys have felt building your own community here with each other. You know, it's just such a strong bond. And yes, my job does know that I'm going on this trip. Yes, they do know I'm a flat earther. They've actually known I was a flat earther for years. And yeah, they just accept it, you know. Also HR.
That's cool.
So, you know, can't get at me.
That's cool. Aw, that's so amazing.
Somebody in the chat was saying that you're not a Latina, you're a flatina.
Hey.
Latina.
But not the booty. Booty never flat.
Did you, Lisbeth, did you catch any of the conspiracy stuff when this thing, did you catch some flack when it was first announced that you got the ticket? Because, as you know, the truther community is naturally suspicious. Did you catch any of that?
Oh, absolutely. Between comments and being in certain spaces where I was grilled, you know, and again, everybody reserves the right to have their level of skepticism. To Patricia's point earlier and to the points made before, we wouldn't all be here if we didn't have that level of skepticism. Right. So it was just a matter of learning to not take it personal. Yeah. You know, hey, we've all been there. I'm nobody to them. They don't know me. They've never seen me in their spaces. If it was the other way around, would I also be thinking the same things? You know, would I also be asking the same questions? So I had to almost remove that part of myself, you know, because I think you also take it more personally when it's like, damn, but you're my community. Like, shouldn't you believe me? But it's like, yeah, but you're still a stranger to them. Not everyone in the community knows you. Yeah. So you have to build trust. Just like I had to build trust with Flat Earth Gang. I stepped in the first day and I'm sure some of them were like, is she even a flat earther? You know, they didn't like grill me or whatever. They definitely took a different approach, but over a year's time, you know, we've built this trust to the point where I got, you know, my admin badge, which is like what we have on Clubhouse when you're able to like be an administrator, moderator, which is kind of, you know, a little badge of honor. You know, you get to run rooms and do cool stuff. And that took a level of trust. That took months of building relationships and, you know, really showing up and, you know, again, just being there for each other. And yeah, I did catch, you know, a lot of the, oh, she's an op. Oh, great. She has a NASA friend. There's no way. And, you know, it was kind of humbling because I was like, oh, when the conspiracy theorist becomes a conspiracy, like, wow, like it kind of set me back. Like, do I have a healthy level of discernment or do I go off the deep end sometimes? And I'm like, everything's a conspiracy. So again, I'm not going to sit here and doubt anyone or talk bad on anyone that's, you know, said anything about me that was in a negative light, because I do feel as though, you know, they reserve the right to have their level of skepticism. And I just hope that through time, you know, we get there and hey, you're not everyone's going to like you. And that's the whole point. If you are a person that everyone likes, you're probably fake, you know. Right. You need to just be true to yourself and just find the people that really love and support you. And I'm happy where things are at. So yeah, shout out to duality in life.
Yeah.
Have you been called a man yet? Because you haven't made it in Flat Earth until you have.
Oh my God.
Oh, I don't know. I'll be honest with you.
Oh my God, poor Patricia. Just
yeah, I'm so sorry.
Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned.
You know, when
well,
right, no, that's
well, I mean, Mark Sargent was called a woman as well.
I was called
during the time period. Yeah,
not just a woman. I was called a large Jewish woman. And I was like, really?
Oh man.
And I mean, no, that's and I had to say it on stage. I was like, Jewish, really? That's where you're going with it.
Why?
No, seriously. When you popped up on the screen when you won your ticket, I knee-jerk reaction. For me, it's like, who the hell is this? What's going on here? And so forgive me. I mean, yeah, I was on the phone immediately.
I thought pretty hair and super excited.
Yeah, it's like I want everything on her. And the file I got back was thin. It was paper thin. I mean, yeah, the time you spent in China, it concerned a few, but the rest of it was solid, I think. I mean, come on, 4 years.
That's
awesome.
A while.
That's a while. You got to admit, that's some time. What were you doing in China for 4 years?
So I was in my mid-20s and I was working in a pediatric dentistry. You know, I had a big girl job and I was running the whole department. I was hiring doctors and hygienists and I was making good money. But there was a part of me that was like, wait a minute, I could stay in here and do this rat race, or my wanderlust self, I could go and explore the world. My original plan was to go to Thailand. I like love Thailand, and I eventually got to make it there. But, you know, I got my certification to teach English as a secondary language because that was like the best way to be able to go to a foreign country and make money and support myself. And my goal was to travel around Asia. That's literally what I wanted to do at the age of 24. And, you know, I told my boss I told the doctor at the dentistry office, and I said, listen, this is what I want to do. And he's like, honestly, girl, do it now, because if you settle down and everything, it's going to be a lot harder in life. So I suggest you go do it now. If you have that itch in you to go do it, go. So that's exactly what I did. I went through the process, and then I found that you don't make so much money in Thailand, and the qualifications at that time, this was back in like 2013, were a lot harder. So China was a little bit easier at that point. Now it's super hard. Now I think you even need like a master's degree to even teach there. But anyways, we're talking about, you know, over a decade ago, and I got this offer. You know, it looked really great. I verified the school. It was like a British run kind of Chinese school, and somebody that was in Pennsylvania that I didn't know, but I saw them in a Facebook group chat talking about, you know, teachers teaching abroad. How was the experience and what are the pros and cons? And he's like, I actually just finished my year contract at this school, which was the exact same school that I had just been offered the job. And he had nothing but beautiful things to say about it. And even still to this day, I wouldn't say we're like close friends, but we have each other on Instagram. You know, we like each other's stuff and everything. And I did get the opportunity to actually meet him because he actually came then when I was there my first year to visit all the people that he knew from, you know, the previous year that he was there, which were the other foreign teachers. So, you know, I got to work with British, Australian, Irish, South African, and like, these are friends for life. These are people that, like, you know, especially when the world shut down, it was just awesome to just be able to reach out and say, hey, how's it going over there? You know, that kind of vibe. And yeah, it was just one of those things where I fell in love, you know, with the, you know, just the experience, you know, being able to, you know, the cost of living over there, especially as a foreigner, was very low compared to living in America. So I was like, what? My money goes so long here. Let's do this. And it was just fun. It was like, I would call it like when you take a year off of grad school and you kind of just want to go crazy, like a super senior year or whatever. That's kind of how I took it. And I just, like, after the first year, I fell in love, and I was just like, we're going for a second year. Then in my third year, I was able to move to a nearby city, a bigger city, got to experience that, you know, teach at a different school. And then in my fourth year, I actually went back to the original city because I missed my friends. And yeah, then came 2018, and I was like, all right, I think 4 years in China is good. I'm ready to come home. I miss cheesesteaks and being able to read all the ingredients on my items. So yeah, I think it's time. So yeah, I came back in May of 2018, and I've been, you know, back in America for the past 6 years.
Okay, so but when did you go to espionage school then? I think that's what we were trying to...
Oh my God.
No,
that's what we were trying to get to the bottom of.
No, the industry that you were talking about, that's a wonderful cover. Absolutely fantastic. And no, I think it'd be awesome having. I mean, that's intrigue, by the way. And, sorry, because your mother is a big fan of Candace Owens, you have to bring. In fact, David Weiss, if you're listening right now, because David's talked to Candace, you should see if you can make that up. I almost guarantee, if you spend time with her producer down there, that you will end up talking to Candace before this is over. That would absolutely be such a fun treat for your mom. Don't tell her either. See if you like set it up, and it's like, oh yeah, Mom, by the way, here's a pre-recorded interview I did with Candace Owens. Like, you did what?
Oh.
It'd be awesome.
Yeah.
That's right up her alley. She loves
that
surprises.
would be really awesome.
There is a question in the live chat about your education and what you do. I don't know if you're at liberty to say exactly what you do, but what you do currently.
So, not going to dox myself. I do have a corporate America job. I do work in finance. So, yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Fair enough.
All right.
No, I mean,
so she's smart. We're just trying to figure out, you know, she's smart. She's not really a spy. There's layers to this to her. Probably. I mean, I love when you get to the flat side. It's like Mark, of course, is like typing out his minions going, find out what you can on this girl. Like, this is the rebel. Welcome to the rebel alliance.
In fact, I'm. You know what? It wouldn't surprise me if David wasn't doing the exact same thing. It's like, oh shit, right? And,
well,
type.
Yeah, it's literally the rebel alliance. That's what it feels like. You've joined the rebel alliance. You put yourself out there, and we're gonna get to the bottom of some more stuff. And it's an adventure, girl. Like, this is so exciting for you. And I kind of, want to touch on one thing before I forget. It's like you brought up something really interesting. Not everyone knows that you're a flat earther. Obviously, just like in my life, not everyone knows I am. You kind of have to you choose, you pick your battles, you choose when to tell someone or not. You kind of have to build a trust because, again, we're so mocked. It's going so far against the grain. But is there anything that you want to say to someone that may recognize you on here that doesn't know that you're a flat earther? Like, I'm just curious, like, what would come to mind if you had to kind of open up about why you're a flat earther?
2 middle fingers, just do it.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Ayo. Well, I mean, as you saw, DJ, I did post it on my Instagram story. I've been just more open about it. And like the people that follow me, like, again, I don't have a huge following, just a little bit over 1,000. I have a private Instagram account, which, by the way, if people want to follow me, you can request me. Again, if you try to troll me, I won't give you any sort of information. You'll just be blocked. So yeah, I mean, to anybody who is watching me who is like, oh my gosh, she's a flat earther, like, sit with it, take a moment, drink some water. I know it's a lot, but also, I would hope that you would come to me if you claim to be somebody who cares for me or knows me beyond, obviously, because if you know me or know of me, then you know that, and you didn't know that I was a flat earther, then you knew other things about me. So remember that I'm still a human being. So I would hope that you would come with, it's not even like, oh, I'm going to come with an open mind because I'm going to try to convince you. No. We all make our own decisions. But how about you try asking more questions? Why? What made you come there? Instead of being like, here's a flat earth debunk video. Because I've gotten that in the past and I'm just like, you're a clown. You're literally a clown and you're projecting your insecurities and your cognitive dissonance and your inability to agree to disagree. Like, I feel like we struggle with that in the society a lot. So yeah, to those of you watching that are just finding out, yeah, I'm a flat earther, baby. Ask more questions.
Somebody in the chat says, I'm looking for a girl in flat earth, finance, China, Duffy.
Oh my God, that's you.
Also, people are saying you're attractive, you're intelligent, you're well-spoken, that you're a wonderful addition to Flat Earth. And even if they hadn't heard of you before, they want to welcome you. And I agree with that completely. And another thing on a totally weird and sad note, there is reports in our live chat that well-loved, in fact, beloved flat earther Zulu One was found unresponsive, collapsed on the floor of his garage as he's doing a simulcast of this very show, and does from Mark all of the time. And his wife Linda has gone with him in an ambulance to the hospital, and that's all we know. So
all right,
that's the update.
We'll see if we'll get confirmation on that.
Wow.
That's wild.
Zulu,
we love you.
He's not a stranger to hospitals, just so you know. However,
well, he's a firefighter.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that as well
might bring people there.
So Peanut's on top of it, and the chat room's on top of it. Once we get confirmation, we'll let you guys know. I don't know if we'll learn anything in the next 10, 9, 8 something minutes. Anyway, yeah, hearts and prayers go with you, Zulu. Don't
too wound up in the conversation to note the chat, but finally we have.
Yeah. So. Really, during a simulcast, that's what you want to do? Yeah, that's just. Come on, man.
Zulu.
You know better than that,
dude, buddy.
The
we love you, but Zulu. That's crazy.
All right, so Lisbeth, the biggest 10-day. Well, you know what? Considering you've been all over the place, this isn't a massive thing for you. It's not like you're from the sticks in frickin' Arkansas. It's like I'm leaving the country for the first time. You're going out on your own, and this is just another hop, skip, and a jump. However, again, you're going to be one of the 0.0. Even people, as you know, even people who travel don't go to Antarctica. It's like, yeah, we're gonna take a pass on that. That just doesn't count. One, because it's ridiculously expensive, and two, it's a horrible place. Are you? Where am I going with this? What do you want? Let's do final thoughts, and I'll ask everybody. Final thoughts from you, Lisbeth. What would you like to have people? I know you're probably review some of the stuff you've already said. Coming from this, big 10 days for you. There you go. I mean, I know 2 days. By the way, sorry, back up for a second. How long does it take to travel down there? We didn't even cover that.
So I mean, it's not a direct flight from where I'm coming
Shocking.
from.
Yeah.
We right, shocking. So it is like, I believe 18 hours, which is nothing that I'm new to. Trust me. I used to go back and forth between China all the time. I've been all over to Europe. Like I'm used to these flights, and I'll say it, you could be as experienced as me or even more experienced, and you're still not enjoying no one enjoys an 18-hour flight. Let's keep it real.
No.
Like it's a lot. You know, after movie number 3, I'm just like, I'm bored. After audiobook number 2, I'm just like, okay, I need to get off this plane. Where's my jetpack? I'm jumping off. Where's my parachute? Like, I want to get off this plane, but you know, whatever. We obviously stay patient and just pray that we land safely. So yeah, it's definitely 18 hours. So it's definitely, and you know, that's not including the airport. That's not including connecting flights if they're delayed, et cetera, due to weather or for whatever other reason. So I'm going to say it's a day of travel.
The final, and so 1 day there, 1 day back. So 8 days on the ice. Are you bouncing? What's the final bounce off in South America? Are you bouncing off Australia?
Well,
South America?
We're not there for the full 8 days, actually, Mark. So let's just, I don't know if so we're actually only there for 5 days. So we're actually arriving in Chile, right? And, you know, to our destination prior to going to Antarctica. And we had to get there 3 days prior because of, obviously, it's tentative to the weather. We're at the mercy of the weather, Mother Nature herself.
Right.
And what if there's a snowstorm on the second day? Then that means we would have to fly out the first day. If there's a snowstorm on the first day, then we would have to wait till the second or third day to fly out. So they kind of do it that way so that we have the time to go down there. So we're actually only in Antarctica itself for the 5 days.
Okay. That's a pretty small window, just so you know.
Yes, it is. It very much is.
I mean, it's good and bad. Good that you don't have to spend more than 5 days sitting, you know, like turning yourselves into popsicles. However, the window for weather is very shallow because, you know, if there, like you said, if there's any cloud cover for any amount of time, well, the experiment becomes null and void. You could say, well, you know, they could say, oh, the sun went behind those clouds for 4 hours. It's like, yeah, we couldn't see it. So, you know, even if it was just that small amount. So cross my fingers for you. What for friends and family in your chat rooms and everything? What's your, are you doing are you talking to anybody else before you go down there? Or are we like your last stop?
Yeah, as of right now. I mean, aside from I'm going to go on Jaren's show this Friday.
Who cares about Jaren's
show?
So
tune in.
Jarenism.
Me and Witsit will be on with Jaren on Jarenism this Friday. So for anybody else, if you'd like to follow along, tune in. This Friday, I think it's going to be, if I'm not mistaken, oh man, I can't remember the time. If Jaren's in the chat, please put it in. I'm like having like a brain blackout right now.
That's right. He'll
but it's definitely in the evening. I think 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but we'll double check.
Okay. That's cool. Yeah, no, that'll be a lot of fun for you guys. Okay, so what final message for your friends and family and anyone out there before you your mission? What's your mission statement going in? Your final words.
Well, wish me luck, safe travels, and let's hope I don't get Amelia Earhart. No, let me not put that out there in the universe.
You're not okay. One, you're not even old enough to get Amelia Earhart. Where the hell did you pull that out of?
Everyone knows.
My God, that's older than your grandmother.
Well, hey, I want to say just really quick, you know, we're praying for you, obviously, and I liked that, you know, for me, Flat Earth it was a divine intervention, and I think you shared the same, that it's just put you on a spiritual path, and so I would say have that faith, and whatever happens, but you have a whole new Flat Earth family over on this side of things, and we're just so excited that you shared your journey with us, and definitely wishing you all the best, and you're going to do great. It's going to be just, you know, it's going to be awesome. Duffy, do the right thing, man. That's all we can hope for.
Yeah. Patricia?
I'm really enjoyed getting to meet you, Lisbeth, and I know it's going to be great, and it's going to add to your personal knowledge and just it'll just enrich your character even more to have just one more trip, but a really interesting one as a notch on your bedpost, so to speak. And also, one last thing is let's keep Zulu One in our hearts and minds right now. We don't know what's happening,
Absolutely.
but I'll post something on my channel in the community section, and I'm sure others will when we find out.
This time next week, you're going to be on your way, right? You're leaving on the 10th?
That is correct.
Yep, this time next week. So my prayers and thoughts and all the good things to go, for a safe trip. Everyone's going to be on the same planes, as far as I know, and staying in your own tents. By the way, are you sharing a tent with anybody, or you got your own? Or is it?
Oh, no, that was confirmed. I get my own.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
The only girl,
yeah.
so I lucked out.
Good
Yes.
for you.
That's awesome.
Good to be a girl sometimes.
Yes, it is. We will be, and I will, just so you guys know, I will check up as soon as I'm done with this broadcast. I will check up and see what's going on with Zulu. We will be back next week, just so you guys know. Same flat time, same flat channel. I believe we're still on. It's going to be Candace Owens versus Joe Rogan in a cage match. We're going to be doing the exclusive stream on that. And, yeah. So that's it. Say goodnight, Patricia.
I'll just say goodnight, Zulu.
Aww.
And everybody who knows what I mean about that.
Please not.
I don't mean a final goodnight.
I was about to
That's
say,
just
it's
a
not done
tip of the
yet,
hat to
Patricia.
him.
Say goodnight, DJ.
Good night, everybody. Good night, Strange World. Stay curious, Lisbeth. Thank you again.
And say goodnight, Lisbeth.
Thank you, guys.
And
Good night, everybody. Thank you for having me.
yeah, it was a pleasure. Absolute pleasure having you. And again,
Yeah.
all our best. Really want you guys to have a fun time. Again, have fun. More than anything, make this something you can come back from and be like, yeah, that was awesome. Never gonna do it again, but that was awesome.
For sure. Sleep with one eye open, but also,
We're gonna run the music. I don't know if you watch the show till the end. We're gonna run the music, so the song plays from Alex Lowry for a couple minutes. You can stay on or drop off. We're just gonna be drumming, and everybody else looks pretty and does whatever. If you want to hear the music, you can have your friend. I'm sorry. One more thing. What was your best friend's name again?
Kelsey.
She's right next.
Her name is Kelsey. She's literally right next
Kelsey,
to me.
do this. Kelsey, pop your head in frame.
Yeah, pop in.
Pop in here for a second, Kelsey.
She can't hear you, but just say this
With
is
your
my
cat,
best
if you
Wait.
can.
Hey, it's Kelsey.
What's up?
Hey, now she's out of focus. You got to move closer to. There you go. Oh my God, she's going.
wait.
She's going out of in and out of focus. There we go.
Aw,
Nice. Hi,
that's
Kelsey.
awesome.
It's a pleasure watching the show, and it's nice to meet all of you.
Aw, that's awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much for helping her with everything.
Yeah,
So,
great job.
Very, very cool. All right, let's play the music. And by the way, Kelsey will hear the music on her side, and we'll be done. Actually, it's a cat.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
cute.
That's the Bengal.
It's a Bengal, not just a cat.
Oh,
I
His
love.
name is Kitten.
hi, friend.
Oh,
That's so cute. Oh, friends are the best, and fur babies too.
All right, stay with us just for a minute. Don't go anywhere, Elizabeth. The song will be done in 3 minutes.
why?
Oh yeah, hot sex.
So we say we know what we thought we knew. All I thought we threw away was everything. Fought in many wars, danced our lives away. How well we loved is how long our lovers stay. as it's ever been. Wound up chasing stars all over again. There's words for what you got, what you have, and what you'll ever need. There's love so many nights, so many nights, so many ways to believe.
Paige needs to get into her PJs with her cup of cocoa and her 6 marshmallows. Night, Mark.
Mike Jack. Jack.
You realize it's the same link every week. It never changes.
Yeah, I know. I should paste it somewhere, I think.